Hello. Today I'm going to share 3 concepts that will help you be able to move through hardship, adapt, and be better on the other side. Now, these concepts are simple, yet they're extraordinarily effective. First, however, I want to ask you some questions. I want you to answer honestly and just raise your hand or say yes if the following statements apply to you. Have you ever lost someone to a disease that was very near to you? This could include the flu, pneumonia, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, cirrhosis, kidney failure, or any other natural cause? Have you ever lost someone to an accident, a homicide, or a suicide? Have you ever been bullied, assaulted, raped, molested, or had a life-changing injury, or even come down with a chronic disease yourself? Finally, have you ever been in an emotionally abusive relationship or worked in an environment where the stress was so incredibly high that you had a hard time coping? Now, I can't see you right now, but my guess is that you raised your hand to at least one of these, or maybe many of these things that I've listed. Now, when you experience losing someone or having these events happen to you, did you wish that you knew an effective way to deal with the pain, the agony, and the sheer overwhelm of the event or events? Maybe for most of your life, you have equated resilience with being physically and mentally tough, having grit, or being impervious to pain and grief. I mean, we've all seen movies and read articles about heroes that have had their entire world collapse around them, yet somehow they persevere and come back to rise to heights of glory. Perhaps you've come to think that something within you is defective, and that's why you experience so much of this emotional gravity that holds you to the ground. You feel like you can't get up off the ground after something bad happens. And it just seems like whenever you catch your breath, something else happens. You may at times think that life is just too much to handle, and that your only 2 choices are just to tough it out and live with the misery, faking a smile and laughing when you'd rather be crying. After all, everyone around you seems so much stronger. People you know are always posting pictures of happy times, people celebrating, and some shiny new piece of their perfect little lives, right? Well, here's a more likely scenario. Everyone you know is experiencing difficulty in their lives. Hardship and traumatic events do not discriminate against race, creed, status, or any other factor. Hardship, as a matter of fact, happens to the rich, the poor, the educated, and the ignorant alike. A large percentage of adults will go through some type of a traumatic event like the ones I listed above. One report from the nationalcouncil.org says that 70% of adults experience trauma. Another 20% will go on to develop post-traumatic stress. I want to share 3 things with you that will help you get through these times. Number 1, know your why and your what. Traumatic things happen to everyone. Resilient people take great care to place their focus on empowering thoughts. It's easy to fall into the victim role and bathe ourselves in self-pity and powerlessness. On the other hand, it takes a disciplined mind to focus on empowerment. In difficult times, there are 2 whys here and 1 what to ask yourself. First, ask yourself, why is it absolutely a must that I get through this terrible ordeal, adapt, and be stronger on the other side? When we ask ourselves questions, the natural reaction is for our mind to come up with the answers. Now, if you ask yourself, why did this happen? Your mind's going to spin endlessly and come up with every possible reason that something terrible has happened to you or someone you love. The answers that your mind provides to this question is not going to benefit you. Instead, ask the question, why must I get through this? When your mind starts to answer, you're going to feel stronger with a sense of near-term purpose that's going to propel you through this time. The second is, why are you here on earth? This is a question that ultimately leads to focusing on your life purpose. What is your purpose on this earth? Again, when you ask yourself a question, your mind's going to work tirelessly to come up with the answer. So when you ask, what is my purpose? Your mind's going to start working on answering the most important question that you can possibly ask. The amazing thing about this question is the answer is up to you. You can choose your own life purpose. You can exercise the greatest liberty that is known to man in the midst of the most trying times. Now, this is going to strengthen your near-term resolve and fuel your passion to be stronger for the rest of your life. Number 2, accept responsibility for the lasting results in your life. You have to accept responsibility for all the results in your life if you want to move through hardship and see the other side in an empowering way. Now, you can say, I can't really do that, Bo. I can't accept the responsibility for things that other people have done to me or things that have just happened to me that were out of my control. I'm not asking you to accept responsibility for those things, but you do need to accept responsibility for the lasting results in your life. Because life is not about what happens to us, it's about how we respond to what happens to us. This is the key to adaptation. If something happens to someone you care about, or you experience trauma yourself, you've got to accept responsibility for the grieving process and taking the necessary steps to get through it. If you don't, you're not going to be able to make the decisions that you need to make and to take the actions that you need to take. Now, it may be difficult to accept, but the results that we have, the feelings that we feel, the decisions that we make, they're our responsibility. You can't put it on God. You can't put it on your spouse. You can't put it on your parents or anyone else. You've got to take responsibility for your own life and your own happiness. Number 3, be your own best friend. As you're going through a difficult time, ask yourself, is what I'm doing helping me or harming me? Now, if you are coping with a traumatic event with negative habits, it's time to get a new best friend. And you might be thinking, wow, that's pretty presumptive of you, Bo. I don't need a new best friend. And that may be true, but hear me out first. The new best friend that you need is you. You need to love yourself with more passion than you have ever loved anyone else. It's time to start doing this now. Think of the most important person in the world to you. Let's just say that person that is most important in your life is your child or your significant other or a parent. Now, imagine how you would talk to that person if they came up to you and said, I have just experienced a most dreadful event and I don't know what to do. I'm falling apart. Most likely you'd say, just let it all out. Grieve. I'll be here for you. Then you'd likely say, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this together. Let me take care of you. See, look at all the things that you have in your life that are beautiful and worth living for. Focus on the things to be thankful for in your life. Do what you need to get through this and be happy. I'm here to support you. And in the process, please take care of yourself. That's what you'd probably say. Now, be your own best friend. Treat yourself the same way you treat the most beloved person in your life. That's the bottom line. There's no one else that's going to get you up in the morning, do personal hygiene for you, get you dressed. Nobody else is going to go, hey, let me tell you where to put your focus during the day. No one else is going to watch you until 2 a.m. and say, this is the 5th glass of bourbon. Is this good for you? Please put it down and call a friend. You have to be your own best friend and decide that no matter what happens in your life, no matter who abandons you, you are going to be there for yourself in a powerful and loving manner. Now, ask the question constantly, is what I'm doing right now going to help me or going to harm me? Now, here's some more good news. You don't have to wait until something bad happens to start incorporating these concepts. Start now. Go back and watch or read this again and hold this up as a mirror to your own life right now and start living a more resilient life.